Win the Storm 2020 in Phoenix, Arizona, day two.
Day two.
I'm here with Paul Reed, very familiar face in this industry. And I wanted to actually just grab you and chat with you real quick. Since you're storming the New Era Symposium, there's been a movement going on in the industry. I mean, that's just the way to say it. And you've started this Roofers in Recovery, and we've had these recovery meetings in the morning, and I just want to kind of pick your brain a little bit on it, but can you give me a little feedback on what you've experienced, kind of forefront and flagship in this thing into progression?
Man, it's been one of the cooler things that I've seen happen over the last few months. Like you said, we started at Storming the New Era, started having AA meetings in the morning with different people. It's getting a lot of traction, and we started that Facebook page, Roofers in Recovery. It's just been awesome, and we're getting people that are coming in that really are looking for a different way of life, and that's something both you and I have experienced over our years of being sober and trying to do things the right way, and it's just been awesome to see. It's kind of one thing, when a guy comes up to me and he wants to talk about roofing, and like we're both super passionate about roofing, and we want to help other roofers and talk about TPO and fluid apply and acrylic and all these things. But man, I tell you, when someone comes up and they want to talk about, like, how did you get sober? How did you change your life, John? Like a lot of people know your story or know my story, and they're curious of, like, what's the difference? And they see people like you that are just thriving, really, because it comes back to you doing the next right thing, which you kind of learn that concept when you get sober. Like, you start learning these different concepts of how to be a normal human being and like do things right. So it's been awesome to see it kicking off, and there was 25 guys there today. An AA meeting at 6:30 in the morning at a conference.
At a roofing conference.
At a roofing conference. That was awesome.
So they want it,
Right.
And like I don't mind sharing, like I shared today in the meeting, I saw a lot of gratitude go where it was due to the two of you that was putting that on, because here's the thing, like I said, if y'all weren't willing to get up yesterday morning and this morning and have that, where would we all be mentally? Because I feel like without having the accountability and the network of the sobriety and a couple pillars running it, it's real easy to get your mind twisted up, especially at an event like this.
It really is, man. I tell you what, I need this as much as anybody, right? Like my sobriety, I've been sober 12 years, but I still need these meetings, and I still need to surround myself by a group of people, and it's really one of those things where we could sit around and we could talk about things and nothing really happens, or we get a core group of us and we want to change things, right? Like, we got a second opportunity in life, both of us. We got a second opportunity. The odds are, like, we should not be sitting here talking to each other in Phoenix, Arizona in the middle of February.
I agree.
Wearing nice suit jackets.
I agree.
Right? It should be like maybe in a prison outfit.
Like,
that's where we should be talking. But like, we got a second chance, through God, that basically put us in this position, and like, I just feel it's our duty to share it to as many people as possible. Yeah,
absolutely. So it's no secret you guys are kind of starting and creating this movement. I mean, that's the reality of it. I want to know, as much as the people watching this want to know, where do you see it going and where do you want it to go?
Well, we're super passionate about it, obviously, right? And where we're going with this, we are in the process of creating a 501c3, a nonprofit organization that will be called the Roofers in Recovery, which is going to be a scholarship fund for rehab. And right now it's going to be for roofers in general. We look to actually grow it out to just trades in general, electricians and carpenters and all that. And the reason why, there's a lot of people out there that, a lot of people get sober going through AA and different things. It's a great alternative on there, and ultimately that's been my experience. But there's a lot of people that need to go to a rehab just to get that start. They need to be pulled out of a bad situation. So to go to a rehab costs a lot. You're looking $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And generally most people that need to go to a rehab, they don't have $30,000. They don't have, they got enough money to go buy a bottle of booze tomorrow. Like, that's what they have. So we're passionate about putting a scholarship thing together. Kim and I have donated the first $10,000 into it. Our intention for this year, for 2020, what we want to do is we want to send at least 5 people to a rehab this year, and just continue to grow it. And I think it's a great way for people to give back, to donate to that. We'll have a board. You're on the board. I don't know if you knew that or not yet, but you're on the board. And so what we're doing is we're gonna come together as a board, and people will actually submit and really apply, or someone will apply for them, you know, like, hey, we need help and here's why, and you know, we'll talk to the guy and see if they really want to go, and if they do, like, we're gonna do what we can, and we're gonna make it work for them.
All this started coming at a time in my life where I was going through a pretty difficult season. I mean, you know, because you were there for me, but I almost lost somebody very close to me from drinking recently.
Right.
And by the grace of God, they're still here today. So, you know, I was feeling that. And, you know, I've been from the area where I was using and destroying the lives around me. And now I've been in an area where I know the one that was using, and I feel the repercussions of some of the stuff that I did. So I can't tell you how important this really is, especially me being in that season and me just being one person out of, you know, we just had a room full of people with similar stories.
Right.
You know, you're hearing me say all the time, especially these last few conferences and events, the industry was looking for leaders of what is right and not followers of what is wrong. And I have to say, your family has done that, and it's proof of concept.
Yeah.
So what I'm taking from this is, you know, you've got the groups going for recovery. You've got the sponsorships that you talk about with the guys that you're helping out on a personal level. I know you do a lot of that personally, even with myself. You got the scholarships where you're going to get the people sober, and you're basically putting something together that's going to be a sustainable change, because one thing, if anybody knows anything about you, you're about sustainability. And I know what you do in your business is going to go carry over to what you're even more passionate about. So I really appreciate you taking the time here with me, and I look forward to doing some more of these. And it's going to have a lot of eyes watching you do this.
It's awesome though, because just to be able to give back, you know, because I look at it like, I mean, someone gave me an opportunity when I got sober, you know. I mean, I had a couple buddies that chipped in a little bit. My mom, like, literally maxed out her credit cards, like, and it was a struggle to get me into rehab. And by the grace of God, they got me into rehab, and it changed my life. So I think it's just super important that, you know, those of us that have been through it and that did receive a second chance, that we give back. You know, there's an old saying in AA that you can't keep what you have if you don't freely give it back. And I truly believe that, and I try to live my life like on AA principles. And by no means am I perfect on stuff. I screw up daily, right? But all I know is if I keep coming back and I keep reaching out and I keep giving back, like, things get better for me, right? Like, in a selfish way, I know, like, things, that's who I am anyway, but I also know, like, the more I do for other people, the better my life is going to be as well.
Absolutely.
You know? So I just want to keep pushing on that and surrounding myself with, you know, guys like you that, you know, push me to be a better person, and
appreciate,
you know, that are going to be there with me, helping, you know, this industry grow. There's so many conferences that which we need to learn how to, like, scale your business and sell more jobs, but man, I need to learn how to be a better person.
That's more important.
Yeah, more importantly.
And, you know, so I'll close it with this, and I thank you for your time here today, is, like I said before, we can't fix who we pretend to be. That's the reality. God can't fix who we pretend to be. We just got to be real and transparent. So the guys that are watching this, the girls that are watching this in the industry, if they're interested in the Roofers in Recovery, why don't you let them know?
Man, just get on our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page, Roofers in Recovery. I got a couple admins on there. We'll add you onto that group. That's the best way to start on there. Also, just reach out to me right now until everything's rolled out. We'll have pamphlets and booklets and a website talking more about, like, the Roofers in Recovery and what we're going to do with the scholarship fund. But right now, just reach out individually. Get on our Facebook page. Number one, join our network. We have a whole network across the country in there. I think there's a couple hundred people on there. They're from, like, literally every state across the country. So you're going to find a lot of recovery in there. You're going to find a lot of mentorship and a lot of friendship in there. So really appreciate what you're doing, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Man.